Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. That one man from a woman's past. And before I get started, I always give credit where it's due. I was inspired to do this video based on a video by Immortal Minds. Immortal Minds. And he called it She Will Always Be Attached to Him. I'll put a link for it in the description box, and definitely sub that brother. He's a powerful brother, very powerful brother. And you know, and also because what he was talking about was that one man that the woman is still connected to, still attached to. And you know what, that actually made me think of a book I talked about years ago. You Might Not Have a Woman If. And I talked about this, and I'll put a link for that in the description box. And it was written by this brother, Russell Price Jr. He was an ex-police officer. He dealt with a lot of domestic stuff. And he said what a problem is, a lot of men don't really have a woman. And it's along the same lines. It's along the same lines of what brother Immortal Minds was talking about, what Russell Price was talking about in his book. And incidentally, this book isn't in publication anymore. It's chewed up. I mean, it's an old book. You see, it's chewed up and everything. My oldest son teethed on this book. But yeah, and I remember going through it, right? You know, like he was talking a lot of stuff. It's like, yeah, you might not have a woman if you are out with your woman and 5 or more men know her by her first name. I think I used that in the other one. Or she's taking a shower, the phone rings, and she does not open the shower door and say, honey, get the phone. Oh, man. You know, you ask her, who's your man while making love, and she says nothing. She does not feel close enough to you to engage in oral sex. Oh man, it's so much in there. But you know, in fact, one story he told in here was about a guy going over a woman's house to be snowed in with her, and he came over there and she didn't let him in. In fact, I know a woman personally did that with a guy. You know, he came over her house during a snowstorm. He got through it. He got there. She didn't let him in. It's so much. But let me get serious now. Look, many women have that one man from a woman's past. In fact, I've talked about that in a video before because, of course, there's so much concern over like a woman's body count, how many men she been with, how many men she been with. And I've said in that video, I'm gonna say it here to be clear. You don't have to worry about all those other men. As shout out Cousin T-Tar, as he has pointed out, sex is like a handshake for many women. Sex is like a handshake. But you have to be concerned about that one man she's emotionally attached to. And that's regardless of her count. She could have a body count of 1 and you meet her. You think, well, okay, I give her 1. But she's still attached to him emotionally. She's still attached. And many women have that. I said in my book, Sexual Chemistry, only maybe 2% of women are going to marry the man they really want to be with. I mean, I've had women tell me, several women tell me, the day they got married, they didn't marry their soulmate. Now, whether you believe in that, whatever term you want to use, soulmate, soul ties, the one, many women are with a man and they with him. Hey, shoot, they can marry him. They could even have children with him. That's not the man they really want. You know, I've used the term ghost. Many women have that ghost, that one man. That's all you need to be concerned with. A lot of guys concerned about the numbers. It's like, no, it's that one man. Because quite frankly, she could have got those numbers still chasing that one man. And to be clear, it's not the imprint. A lot of people have the imprint incorrect. Let me correct y'all on the imprint. The imprint, if you're not in the first 3 men, you're not part of the imprint. And really even goes deeper than that, because the imprint starts really within her DNA, the type of guys that in her DNA she's inclined to go for, which is usually based on the males in her family. Usually based on the males in her family. And then her father. then her father. And then she's looking for a guy who matches her father's energy, unless she consciously doesn't do that. But then the actual imprint, sexual imprint, is the first three. If you ain't in that first three, that's not an imprint. Now, that being said, all the imprint does is give her a predisposition to go for a certain type of man who matches that imprint. But she might not have necessarily developed an emotional connection to those men. Those could have been three random men. Unfortunately, some women's imprints have been like gang rape. I know at least one, her imprint was a gang rape. So, but she still wasn't close emotionally. She's just gonna have a natural attraction, that's it. But she can meet number 10 down the line, and that's the one she falls in love with. Her heart, she has a heart connection. You know, that's the one. And that's not the same as an imprint. One issue I have just in this general space, people will take a word and they'll hear it, all of a sudden it loses the original necessary meaning. Like I say, if anybody asks if they part of a woman's imprint, it's three men, the combination of three men. Really can get down to two, just three just to be sure. But a combination of those men's personality traits and their physicality. And that's just a natural disposition to go for a certain type of man. And it's powerful. But when you talk about the ghost, that's totally different. The ghost is that guy. I mean, she was in love with the guy. She was in a relationship with that guy. And honestly, that guy, in all likelihood, not totally, but probably just matched her imprint anyway. But he wasn't the imprint. He's just the ghost. He's the guy she just fell in love with for whatever reason. But that's the guy you worry about. That's why you get some women, especially, you know, they can marry some guy, they can have some children, have a happy life, but then they either divorce the husband or he might pass away. And then if they run into that same guy, like years later, and he's available, they still thinking about him, you know? I know an elder, she had once said, she was talking about, she was married, had a child with the guy, right? Had a happy life and everything. But this elder, she had told her daughter, oh yeah, she was talking about a particular man who she called a shoulda. She should have married him. That's who she wanted. And that's a lot of women. See, that's the thing. When you're dealing with a woman, if you're talking about getting serious, you probably need to have a serious conversation. You need to have a real serious conversation. Now, if it's just like you just having fun with her, just fun, you ain't gonna be serious, or y'all could be friends with benefits, or y'all can even be in a relationship, but this ain't serious, right? You don't have to worry about it. But I would say this, if you want to marry that woman, if you're talking about having a life with that woman, you need to sit down and have that serious conversation. You need to have it, and this don't mean you have to drop her, but you got to take that into consideration, because that's that ghost, and that ghost can pop up at the weirdest moment. I've seen several instances of that. You need to find out. Like I said, let me be clear, that ain't necessarily the actual imprint, which is not a person, but rather a blueprint, but probably matches that. So, but technically don't call it an imprint. A better term is ghost. Does she have that ghost, that guy she's still thinking about? Like, you'll get some women, they'll break up with a guy. Right? Or they can go through several guys, but there's that one they still thinking about. And he could have moved on. We not as affected by the ghost, as affected, right? We can get past it. That's just our nature. But women, they get that one guy, the one. And it could be myriad reasons why they didn't hook up. But he's still on their mind. And like I said, it's deep to the point. She could marry another man. And she could have a generally happy relationship where she can have kids with that guy. But that ghost now, And some women, they'll be honest. They'll tell a guy, I remember, I don't call names a lot, but I remember seeing an interview with Karen Steffens, Superhead. I think that's her name. And she was She was straight up. She told the guy she was with, if Lil Wayne called, she was gone. You know, some women will just tell you straight up. You just have to decide if you want to deal with it. Let's be real. Most men don't want to deal with that. If you're talking about marriage, and if you're talking about just having fun, just expect that. Shoot, it could be helpful if that's all you want to do is have fun. It could be helpful that she ain't pressed about you, because then it's easier to move on from her, because you know what you're getting into. You know, and some guys are like that. They were like, oh, she pressed about some, oh, good, this makes it easier. I can tell I'm messing with another woman, you know? But a lot of guys, you know, you'll want that woman and everything. And yeah, you think it's just about the body count. No, that one ghost, you know, that one guy she was truly in love with. That one guy she would just change everything in her life for. And like I said, he might match her imprint, but not necessarily her imprint. You know, because her imprint, like I said, is a combination of 3 men who penetrated her. Penetrated. Let me be clear on that. Let me be clear. But it's something to think about. And if you're serious about a woman, real serious, you need to find the best way you can get with her, because you really can't make her forget about him. She has to do that on her own. She has to be the one to get over him. Now, you can present your best and everything, but don't have a romantic notion, oh yeah, I can fuck her into submission. First of all, let me address that. Now, I ain't said before, oh yeah, you could probably do that, but I still study stuff. You gotta hit her right in the heart. And that's tough, because you ain't gonna, see, here's why it's tough. You don't know what it takes to really unlock her heart. You can do a lot, but if it was that easy, men would just do it. You don't know. So the key, best you can do is try to like have that serious, if you're talking serious, you need to sit down and say, don't ask about the rest. Say, all right, is there that one guy that you were truly in love with? We need to know. And just be straight up, be like, look, if we're talking about going forward, I don't want a situation down the road where you still thinking about this guy. It's better you be honest right there than years later you got some kids, you got property, everything involved while she's trying to get divorced because the guy came back into her life. Heck, that's a story angle for some shows. You get that one guy, that one, you know? And a lot of guys, they get blindsided by it. It's better you have that, if you serious about it, you have that conversation. And now, this ain't saying they can't lie or anything, but have that conversation. And even when you having a conversation, look at her body language. Look at how her body's doing and everything. And I know somebody, well, how can I do that? Well, deal with enough women, you'll learn how to read their language. That's why I say you got to engage women. But try to figure that out. Try to figure that out. If there's that ghost. If there's no ghost, because there's a lot of women, they might not necessarily have that ghost. If they had sex, they've been imprinted, but like I said, it's not the same thing as a ghost. That one man. You know? Because, and let me just give you a quick thing. Sometimes they will have some indication of that one man. They'll have some keepsake, something. Shoot, even in an extreme example, maybe even a tattoo of them. If a woman lets a man, if a man's name is tattooed on a woman, don't take her seriously. Seriously, don't take her seriously. I'm just gonna put it out like that. You know, because that's some serious shit. Now, if it's tattooed, but she's actively trying to remove it, you might be in good shape. But that one man, be very concerned if you serious. And if you ain't serious, like I said, it is what it is. But that's the one man. Don't worry about the many. Worry about the one. All right? So anyway, that's all I have for right now. I'll get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.